I've had to come to know some bits about it, and I don't actually have any surveying equipment, but I'm familiar with some of it, and I'm familiar with auto levels. Well, when I say familiar, I have not used an auto level in real life, though I'm familiar with what you see and how they work, the technology behind them, and theodolites and the difference between them. I know that, but I have not actually gripped one, though I've considered getting one and hiring one to do the Alberuni test, where you get on a nice big mountain or something near some water, and then you measure the dip angle to the horizon from the horizontal. So I'm familiar with and things like some parts of the dumpy level. I'm familiar with some of the procedures, but I've not actually done it in real life.
Right. So I did notice you said from the horizontal. So you know that level is horizontal then?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Well,
locally.
Locally. Right. Do you know?
Because everybody's horizontal on a different part of the earth is different.
Okay, but do you understand geometry? Have you done like much geometry? I know you say you haven't.
Yes, I have done a lot of geometry. Yes, right. I'm very familiar with geometry.
Sweet. So you know a perpendicular then?
I certainly do.
And that is two straight lines, right?
At a point, yes, they cross at a point, yes. So at the point where they cross, then you have a perpendicular. Okay. But
so
that's all.
But you say you understand geometry, which
I do.
Euclidean geometry, right? You know what we're using Euclidean geometry, right?
Yes.
Right. Well, do you know the axioms and all of that of Euclidean geometry?
I think there are 4 axioms, and there might be a 5th. They had to add about parallel lines not meeting that they tried to remove, but they had to put back in.
Okay. Well, I've got an old school book for geometry, Euclidean.
I think there are. You seem to have. I don't know.
There's 12 axioms and 3 postulates there, right?
I thought there were only 5 axioms.
That's weird, isn't it? What some people think, but.
Well, I'm reasonably sure. I don't know. I'm prepared to. I'm sufficiently sure to think that your book is not. It's possibly confusing postulates and axioms. Let me just go and check on that. I'm reasonably sure. I don't know whether there are 2 sets of axioms or something.
Oh, so you've got an updated elements, have you?
I haven't got an update elements, no, but I think the...
this is 1871, this one. See if you can get one any earlier. That'd be great.
Well...
I mean, I'd love to see an earlier one. As far as I know, there's some that are still missing from this. I think there's about 23 axioms, really.
I think... Well, I mean, I must admit, you... Hold on. Let me just check on this, because I'm reasonably sure... I mean, I haven't thought about this for some time, but let me just go and check.
Not thought about it?
Well, you don't tend to think about the axioms very much, whether or not you needed them. I'm familiar with the 5th one, where parallel lines not meeting was...
Is that what it says?
I've got space.
If a straight line meets 2 straight lines as to make the 2 interior angles on the same side as is taken together less than 2 right angles, these straight lines being... continually produced shall at length meet on that side which are the angles which are less than 2 right angles. Doesn't really say much about parallels, does it?
Right, the 5th, I'm looking at the Wikipedia page under axioms, and it only has the 5 that I mentioned. And the 5th one, as I said, is the parallel postulate. It says they let the following be postulated in the elements. Yes, Euclid gives 5 postulates, axioms, so I was completely correct. And
Wiki.
The 5th one, as I said, and I was correct, but the 5th one was about parallel lines.
Okay. What's number 2?
To produce, extend a finite straight line continuously in a straight line.
Okay, so that means there's no points, right? You can't say horizontal at a point if you're using Euclidean geometry, because number 2. Yeah, you can read that, can you? Well, because my one, it's got it as the postulates, right? Now, yeah. I don't know whether you've got 5 axioms, right?
Do you want to read? I'm happy for you to read out. Hold on, let me just go back to you. You're reading out number 2, is it, which is...
It's the second
So a
postulate.
terminated straight line may be produced to any length of track. Yes, which is effectively the same as the one that I was reading.
Yeah, it's just worded slightly differently, isn't it?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
when it says a terminated straight line, that means like what you're calling a point. I can give you a definition of geometry of the point if you want.
No, my point was different.
Oh,
perhaps I'll show you. Can we show? Is there a way? We can now. There's a no. We've got an option here of sharing a screen, haven't we?
yeah. It's brilliant, Discord, isn't it?
Yes, this is new.
It's
isn't
the future.
When I put my pointer over screen, it shows me no entries. Is that a special facility that I don't have access to, or something?
Oh, I don't know. Emma might be the person for that. Emma, is he not allowed to show a screen, or?
No, everybody should have access to it. Let me just double check.
I've got a little no entry sign when I move my pointer over the screen.
That might be because you've not got it open for you.
Hang on. Voice activity video. Okay.
Now I can. Yes, right. Okay.
There you go.
Right. Okay. Let me show you a diagram that may help you quite a lot.
All right. And what's this? Give us a run through.
Well, okay, I'll show you the diagram. Let me just see if I can. Here we go. Now, do I have to click go live? Is that what I do? The stream is this one. Right, that's it. Yes, okay. Can you see that? I don't know where you have to click to see it.
I'm coming in. Yeah. We got it full screen.
All right, you can bring it. Okay, it's just showing up as a. Right, so you've got that nice and big, have you?
Scale model.
Scale model, yes. Why are you saying Gale?
Scale model of the great circle of the Earth.
No, it says scale.
Yeah.
Can you not read? Why is it? Why are you saying Gale instead of scale?
Don't know. Are you hearing something? I'm saying scale model.
Oh, you keep on. Oh, I thought you said Gale. Sorry, I don't know. Okay, I was sure you twice said Gale. Okay, right. But then you said scale just now.
Yeah, what scale is it?
Oh no, it's a scale that the represents. It's a scale model in the sense that everything is scaled with represent to itself. I haven't actually put an absolute. I mean, the reason it's called a scale model is I've got on here the St. Bees and Douglas of the Isle of Man, and I put the reason it is a scale model is I put those 2 points on here at these brown arrows. Can you see?
But what scale is it at?
It's a relative scale. It's valid to a angular scale. I haven't put on the dimensions of what a length represents. I mean, if you like, I could do. I mean, the radius here. Okay, if you want, the radius of this circle here is 6,371 kilometers. That might make you happy.
How did you measure that?
Because that's the radius of the Earth.
Yeah, but how did you verify it? Or
because that is what professional geodetic surveyors and the GPS and every measurement we've ever made of the radius of the Earth gives us that value.
How did they measure that?
Well, the GPS system does it, or you can do it yourself with the Alberuni technique. You could measure that radius if you like.
You just said a dip from the horizontal.
Correct. Yes. If you want to go out, take a dip from the horizontal. There's a geometrical calculation you can do to then give you the radius of the Earth from that value.
Right. Okay. So
I can go through that. I've actually got a diagram for that just below. If you want me to go through.
You do say that level is horizontal, right?
Right. This is what part of the diagram here. So Can you see that I've drawn lots of little at various points on this Earth? I've drawn where level is at various points.
So would you be saying up and down there? Would you be calling that vertical?
Yeah, indeed I would. Yes,
brilliant.
You can see that here.
So that is vertical and horizontal.
Can you see my pointer?
Yeah, of course I can.
Right. Okay. Oh, just checking. Right. So let's take this point here, for instance.
Yep.
Let's take this point on the surface of the Earth. At that point there, so if we zoom into that.
Yep.
Right. So.
Sort of funny angle.
At that point on the Earth.
Yep.
That's up and that's down and that's level. Over here.
Oh.
Whoops. Over here.
You see, if you extend them lines, like we just explained in Euclidean geometry.
Yeah. They will cross at different angles. Yes.
Oh. Well,
is
that what perpendiculars do?
It's perpendicular at this point.
Yeah, but if you extend it, it won't be perpendicular with that other one that you're calling
That's right,
vertical
because
over there, will it?
That's because that's a different point. Yes, a different angle.
But that breaks the rules of geometry, surely.
No, it doesn't. No. We can extend this line here. This is level at this point, and this is level at that point.
Okay.
There are
So
two
horizontal isn't perpendicular to vertical.
It is. That's exactly what it is.
No, it's not going to be perpendicular to that other vertical, though, is it?
Yeah, no, hold on. That's because they're different, yes. So at this point
the verticals are different.
Hold on. Let me finish my sentence. So at this point here on the surface of the Earth, this is level, that's vertical. If we go to a different point on the surface of the Earth, there is a different level and a different vertical.
Yeah, but that doesn't look right, does it? You cannot see that problem there.
No, there's no problem. You can see it's entirely consistent. There you go.
No, because then one's at the sides there.
Because down is defined on a sphere with a gravitational pull to the centre of the Earth. Everything has to point towards the centre of the Earth. So all these points here, down is going to change direction depending on where you are on the surface of the Earth.
Right, I can't get anything. I'd like to have a screenshot of that. Can you give us a picture of that?
I'll tell you what. I will provide you. I will create a grab of that.
I think DP made a meme of this. DP, have you got that? Because it was a maths teacher from Canada that did this sort of thing, and I'm not so sure how your geometry works.
Very simple.
Well, I think you seem to have made a very, very fundamental mistake.
No, you seem to not understand some very simple things. Down is towards the centre of the Earth. And at any point on the surface of the Earth, there's a different down direction. And as you determine level or horizontal is perpendicular to that angle, those levels all change in angle as well. So the key thing to remember that down points to the centre of the Earth. And we can demonstrate this. If you get a theodolite and you say, even if they're just 600 meters apart, they've effectively got a plumb bob in them. Those plumb bob angles are not parallel. So we can establish this just simply from using a theodolite and measuring, or using a plumb bob even. Two plumb bobs 600 meters apart will not be parallel.
What?
Established.
They'll both be vertical, though, right?
No, they won't. Yeah, they'll both be vertical, but they won't be parallel.
Okay. But they will be perpendicular to a horizontal.
Well, they define the horizontal.
Okay.
At the point
what
of the
define a horizontal?
Right, I'll say it again. When you imagine two plumb bobs.
Okay, let's have a canal. Have a stretch of canal, right? Let's have a stretch of canal 2 miles long, and we'll set some water levels up, right?
Okay, unfortunately,
and then
documents.
But you can drop your plumb bobs on that horizontal surface, right?
I will. Unfortunately, my documents just decided to do an autosave, and I'm going to be stuck for 30 seconds, so I can't draw anything. Give me 30 seconds, and it will recover. Right. So I'll go back while you can see that. So you should be able to see that down and up change direction depending on where you are on the surface of the Earth. And as we define level and horizontals perpendicular to that, level and horizontal change direction wherever you are on the surface of the Earth.
There you go. That's it. That was it. One person's horizontal is another person's vertical.
Oh, I was trying to think which one you meant.
They're just different. Can you not see?
There's this one as well, Bev.
Yeah.
That
I've
just posted.
Rumpus, is there like a statement? One person's horizontal is another person's vertical.
No, they're never Well, if you look at my diagram, let's see if we can find if you really want to think of it like that. So this person, let's take this person.
Can you see in the live stream text?
Hold on. Well, let me just go through. I'll look at that in a second. Let me just show you. Here we go. So if we go to the top of my circle, this person who sits here. So if we put a person there, their up is in this direction. And if you go 90 degrees around here, then indeed there's someone's level here, 90 degrees, would in fact point in the same direction as someone else's vertical if you move 90 degrees. So what do you want me to look at in the thingy? Which thing do you want me to look at?
Can you see the one that says one person?
By Professor Bevel.
Yeah, that's me.
The one that says, do you teach this to children?
Yes, she's a teacher.
Yeah, okay. So as I'm showing you my diagram,
That's
and my
what she
diagram shows
said.
you that at different points on the surface of the Earth, you should be able to see if you define level as being perpendicular to up and down must always point to the center of the Earth. Then, as you move around the surface of the Earth, up and down change direction, and so does level or horizontal.
Rumpus,
It's
you do
perpendicular.
realise one thing, don't you?
I realise lots of things.
There is no definition of down that states towards the centre of the Earth. No, there isn't.
Absolutely, there is. That is the
No, there
definition
isn't.
of down. That is the definition of down.
Can you supply a definition that says that?
Okay.
Because I've had this exact argument with Wolfie, and Wolfie is... he swears blind that there is a definition of down that states towards the centre of the Earth, and there is no definition.
Well, I mean, it is in practice. I'm just going to see.
But the definition of the word does not state towards the centre of a sphere, of a globe.
The scientific definition. Let's go and see if we can find a scientific definition for you.
No, try the dictionary definition, Rumpus, because you are using the word.
Yeah, and I'm talking.
No, but you're using the word down.
Yeah.
Use the dictionary.
Using it in a scientific sense.
Can we
use the dictionary definition,
I will go and
Rumpus?
get it from a scientific.
No, your pseudoscience is not science.
Don't let him get away from the vertical and the horizontal thing.
No, you'll drag him back to it, don't worry. Sorry, Beth.
Don't give him an out. We were just on it. Like, because I've done yours as well. I don't know whether you can see that I've on your model there. I've extended some of the horizontals for you.
Yeah.
And I've made a square there.
Yeah.
Right. So they are all on your model that you've just given us. Horizontals that are perpendicular to horizontals.
Because the horizontal changes depending on where you are on the surface of the Earth.
You think that's fine? Because I thought vertical and horizontal were perpendicular.
They are at any one point on the surface of the Earth.
But also horizontal is perpendicular to horizontal in your model.
Well, no, it varies. The angle of the direction of up and down varies depending on where you are on the surface of the Earth.
That's vertical, though, right?
Two plumb bobs, just as I said, two plumb bobs.
Yeah, verticals.
Hold on, let me just finish my sentence. Two plumb bobs will point down, but they will not be parallel if they're more than, say, 600 meters apart.
Oh, so they will. There are some parallel verticals allowed then.
No, I just told you they're not. No, I just told you. They're not. They're not
so there are no parallel verticals on your model.
Correct. Yes, actually, yes. If you would go to a resolution, immediately you moved away from if you want to say even an inch, there's a very slight difference then in the angle of down. It's so slight you wouldn't be able to measure it with a theodolite.
Angle of down. What is the angle of down?
Toward the centre of the Earth.
What's the angle though, please?
Well, that defines. Well, it's that is a straight line that defines the starting point, your reference angle.
Yeah. Angle. What angle?
Hold on. It defines the zero. It defines zero.
A zero angle?
Well, you pick on your coordinate system, but down is defined by going to the centre of the Earth, and then you measure.
No, it's not. Down is not defined as set towards the centre of the Earth, Rumpus.
No,
it's not.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not. It is not.
Absolutely, it is.
Vertical is perpendicular to horizontal, though, right? Or are you allowing for vertical to be perpendicular to vertical as well?
Depending on where you are on the surface of the Earth, you see from my diagram that the angles for vertical and horizontal, where I've drawn level, you can substitute the word horizontal. Those angles change depending on where you are in absolute space, of course. This is looking at it from space.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's right.
You're using Euclidean geometry looking from an impossible place.
Well, this is an orthographic view of the Earth, say, and there the angle of horizontal and vertical
You know,
will change.
you don't seem to understand what horizontal is, Rumpus.
I absolutely understand it. You don't.
You don't. You've got it at different angles. You can't have something that's perpendicular to itself and also perpendicular to something else.
I mean, you don't seem to be taking anything on board here. Let's try it again. The position angle of horizontal and vertical changes with your position on the surface.
Perpendicular.
No. You see, you're talking about perpendicular again. You don't listen to what I'm telling you. The point at you wish to consider, the horizontal and vertical are perpendicular, but both of them change. They maintain their perpendicular nature, but at each point on the surface of the Earth, horizontal and vertical have different angles with respect to other points on the surface of the Earth.
Point? You keep talking about a point. What do you mean by a point?
The point, because where those vertical in my diagram, you will see where a vertical line crosses
can
a
you
horizontal.
define a point for me, please?
Well, where those two lines cross. Well, you pick a point. I'm sure you understand what a point means. If I go outside and I point to a particular piece, a grain of sand on the surface. With your
finger?
So I point at a grain of sand. Yeah. Let's suppose I can point at an atom.
With your finger, or are you using a laser?
Doesn't matter what I'm doing it with.
Well, it does, because that's what I'm asking you to define a point.
Well, you can pick on the resolution. If you want to decide how big a point is.
You're just waving your finger around.
How big do you want to define the point is? How big do you want to define the point is?
Well, I want you to define a point.
A point is a mathematically infinitely resolute. It has an infinite resolution, infinitely small. Whereas in the real world, obviously we can't do that. But let's say the.
Do you want me to give you the Euclidean definition of a point?
Okay.
In geometry.
Why not?
It is that of which has no parts.
Okay, fine.
Okay.
Yeah, fine. There's nothing to it. Yeah, fine. And you're using a point.
Yeah, it's a point in space. But to make it easier for you, let's imagine, and let's make it easier for you because you're having problems understanding. Let's imagine an atom. Let's imagine an atom.
Let's imagine an atom. Go on, teach us how to imagine that.
Let's imagine.
Do I have to close my eyes?
Let's imagine an atom. We'll call that a point.
What am I imagining it as?
Right. So imagining a little atom sitting on the
how?
surface of the Earth.
How? Rumpus, come on.
No,
you can't just say imagine it. Come on.
Yes, I can. I'm asking you to imagine a point.
Well, you have to describe it.
Yeah, I can imagine anything.
No, I don't. I want you to.
I imagine it as a huge elephant. Is that good enough?
No, it's not an atom, is it? So right. You do know what an atom is, do you?
Do I know what an atom is?
That's the question.
You tell us. You tell us what.
No, I asked you the question.
Yeah, and I said you tell us.
I asked you a question. Do you know what an atom is?
And I said, please tell us, Rumpus.
No, I know, but I'm asking you the question.
And then my reply is, Rumpus, please tell us with your massive intellect.
I asked the question to know what you know. I don't want you to ask me what I know.
Right, we're here talking about geometry, and you've gone to atoms.
Hold on. Why are you deflecting?
I'm not the one deflecting. You're the one talking about a point.
Hold on. I asked you a question, and instead of answering the question, you asked me a question. Could you please answer the question? Do you know what an atom is?
No, Rumpus. Please tell us now.
No, but I want to.
Please tell us, Rumpus.
Hold on. I want to make sure if that's the answer to the question.
Please tell us.
I know, but I'm asking you a question, and I'm going to.
And I've just replied. Now, can you please tell us?
So your answer is you don't know what an atom is. Is that your answer?
My answer? What?
I asked you a question. Do you know what an atom is? That's a yes/no answer. What is your answer? Yes,
my answer was no, Rumpus. Please tell us.
I don't want the other bit. I just want the yes/no bit to make sure we understand your.
Oh, Rumpus,
answer.
Get on with it, for God's sake.
No. But if he answered the question,
well, it's supposed to be the smallest particle.
There you
go.
Now I want him to know. Who answered me then?
Well, it doesn't matter. Okay, I'll go with what he says. All right, smallest particle.
I want to know what you know. Do you know what an atom is?
It's the smallest particle, right?
Right, excellent. So I want you to imagine that on the surface of the Earth, and there.
How small is small? Rumpus?
Is it? Go to that. No,
Smaller than sand.
Yeah.
We're going to go with that. We're going to go with what was smallest possible.
Okay.
So, right. So
Sand.
we want to move on. We want to move on to the geometry. Let's not get stuck off.
Right.
the
Okay. Well, then let's go straight on to
I'm
number
going to-
2 postulate number 2.
No, hold on. I'm just dealing with the horizontal level. So
Yep.
imagine an atom on the surface of the Earth. At that point, we're going to call that a point. Because
Yep.
It's very small.
You can have a point as
At
nothing
that point,
if you want.
There is a vertical.
The
there
true
is a
meaning.
vertical line from that atom to the center of the Earth
Yep.
that defines down. So that gives you your down, and as you just talked about an extended line, that gives us the up in the other direction, following on, going upwards, extending that line up above the atom.
Yeah,
and
that
then
a
perpendicular on-
terminated straight line may be produced to
Yeah,
any length in a straight line.
Exactly right. So that's our
So
up,
that
down.
that point, the point of the point is meaningless because it can be
On that line.
extended
It's a point.
to any length in a straight line. So it doesn't matter how small it is, does it?
Right, so hold on. You seem to have a problem with points. So right at that point, at that point,
Yeah, Rumpus, it's
At that
because
point-
you won't get to it.
At
If you
that
get to
point-
your point,
at
then
the point-
maybe it won't be such a problem.
If you didn't interrupt me, we might get faster.
Ugh,
Right. So at that
Good
point,
grief, man.
at that point on the line, the up down line, we can then take
That point on the line, like the indefinitely long straight line.
We can have a point on a line.
Yep.
So how
Right.
much of that
Hold on,
line
let me
is
finish,
in a,
let-
as
How,
a
how many
percentage
how
is
many
the-
points can you have a perpendicular on that line?
Let me finish. So at that point on the line, we then take a perpendicular.
Yeah. How many can you have on that line?
Can I finish my point, please? At that point on the line,
Yep.
we have a perpendicular, and that gives us a horizontal. There, sorted for you.
Brilliant.
Right.
Now,
Can
no,
I-
wait, no,
can I
no,
have
wait
a
a minute.
question?
No, we're still there. How many perpendiculars can you have on that line, Rumpus? Infinite. Would they be called verticals if they were on a perpendicular to a horizontal?
I've just explained that the horizontal is perpendicular. I mean, you're being willfully stupid here.
No, I'm just asking you a basic geometry question.
I told you we had a line
Yep.
going from the point down to the surface, down to the centre of the Earth, and then we took a perpendicular. Of course, that can be 360 degrees all the way around that line. All those at 360-degree perpendicular.
All right, that circular line, it's not very horizontal, is it?
You moron! I just explained to you it's the angle with respect to that line.
What
A plane-
angle?
A plane intersecting that line at that point is then a horizontal. You moron!
Is it horizontal when it's horizontal, or is it just means it's sort of touching the curve of a circle to make it horizontal?
I just told you it was horizontal.
Does it actually have to be horizontal though?
I just told you it's horizontal, you moron.
Okay, so a horizontal perpendicular to a vertical.
Yes, as I said, you moron.
So you can travel along that horizontal and drop another perpendicular on it, can't you?
Yeah, but that would then, the vertical would be different, so it would no longer be going towards the centre of the Earth.
Oh, so the vertical wouldn't be perpendicular.
I've explained to you about, 20 times now, that the vertical changes with your position, your point on the surface of the Earth. How many more times am I going to have to say that?
Yeah,
before you understand?
yeah, because you move. If you move in wherever you are and you're holding a plumb bob, then that plumb bob will move with you, won't it?
And it would point in a different direction.
It'll point.
To the centre of the Earth.
It'll point
Like my diagram.
perpendicular to horizontal.
I mean, can
won't
you
it?
not understand the simple diagram I've drawn? That as you move around the
Simple
circle,
diagram you've drawn has
Yes.
horizontal being perpendicular to a
Right.
horizontal.
I tell you what. Let's forget that's a drawing of the Earth. Let's just imagine that's a circle. You seem to think you understand something about geometry, right? So imagine that's a circle. Do
Okay.
you understand?
Don't
that
need
as
to
I
imagine
move
it is a
around-
circle,
Hold on,
isn't it?
Be quiet. As I move around that circle, that the direction to the centre of the circle is going to change. Do you understand that?
You can move around that circle, can you?
Do you understand?
Can
that as
you
I-
move around that circle? Is it like a
Get a bit more on. You
like
say
a merry-go-round type circle
More on.
that
This
you're
is-
walking
Rumpus.
round?
Sir,
Rumpus.
no, hold on. Yeah, but
Rumpus.
he's being
No.
deliberately stupid
No,
here.
I don't care. You use that word once more. I'm bored of it. Can you not come up with another word?
Yeah, but
Anything.
he's-
Spanner.
yeah, but
Idiot. Something. Not moron,
no,
you
but I've got to make a
moron.
point here because he's being willfully stupid.
No. You're the one
Right,
that's not understanding
here we go.
basic
Let's try
geometry.
again. Imagine, forget this is a drawing of the Earth. Let's imagine it's just a circle.
You think that's a drawing of the Earth?
Let's not. We're just going to call. We're going to now say
Drawing. Nice.
That's a crayon drawing.
That's really funny saying drawing. Right, so if I have that
Rumpus has
circle I've
been
drawn
busy
there,
with his
that
crayoners this
circle I've
afternoon.
drawn there, do you understand that
He's
as
been
I
watching.
consider a point around the circumference of that circle,
No,
that the
third
angle...
postulate.
Just let me finish my sentence.
And that a circle
Do you
may be
understand-
described from any centre
let me
at any
finish my
distance
sentence.
from
Let
that
me
centre.
finish my sentence. Right, do you understand that if I were to follow the circumference of that circle, that the angle to the centre of the circle is changing? Do you understand that?
The angle to the centre.
Yes, if I were to draw a line, the angle of that line would be different.
Sorry,
Well,
where are you drawing this line? What are you talking
All
about?
those radial lines that I've drawn in, they're all at different angles, aren't they?
Oh right. Well, yeah, call them
Radials,
diameters or whatever. Yeah.
radial, you see those radials where I've marked them, they're all at different angles, aren't they?
All at different angles to each other. Yeah.
Great. So you now understand that as you move around the circumference, that the angle to the centre of that circle is a different. The line, the radial, that's what the radial is, from the centre to the outside.
Yeah, radius.
All those angles. Hold on, let me finish. All those angles are different. Do you understand that?
Right. Yeah. See the angles. You keep calling them angles. Can I?
So now
No, Rumpus.
now
Rumpus.
okay,
Rumpus. Hey, come on. Let me stay. Come on.
Oh,
Right. Angles. You're saying angles. You realise because you're saying that and radiuses that you need two straight lines in order to measure an angle, right? You obviously say that because you've drawn a load of radial lines, as you call them, radius, right? And then the angle is between the two straight lines, right?
right. So that angle, you've now accepted that those
Are
lines,
angles.
all lines that go through the centre of that circle have different angles with respect to one another. And
Yes.
now that you understand that, then you should be able
But
to
you
understand.
think I didn't
why
understand
on
it
the-
before?
Oh, let me finish.
Woohoo.
And therefore, let me finish.
Why did you not think I
Sounds
understood that
good.
before?
I've got 5 words into my answer.
It's like 360 degrees in a circle. If you put a line there, then you divide it, don't you?
My answer.
I understand
I've
that.
got 5 words into a statement and you interrupted me. So just now that you've understood that, well,
I haven't
radials-
just
Let
now
me
understood, so
finish,
stop.
Let me finish, then you can come back. So those lines that go through the centre of the circle, they have angles with respect to one another. Similarly, you can think of that as the Earth, and then all those points on the surface have angles.
Woo, I
Those
say like that nice
verticals-
little hand
those
wave
verticals-
gesture there.
those verticals-
Poof,
those
think of it
verticals
as the
also
Earth.
have angles with respect to one another. If you understood that simple piece of geometry, then you would understand what's going on, but clearly you either willfully won't understand it, or you're too stupid to understand it.
Are we imagining that as like the North Pole and them all of them lines going outwards from
And
the
if you
north?
doesn't make any difference.
Could
It's a
call
great
it like south away from north, could you?
Let's just concentrate on the angles here for a moment.
Is that like a down view, right? Yeah? It's a down view,
Well,
and we
actually,
can
no,
imagine
actually,
it's like a clock face, right?
Yes.
And them are like the hand, minute, and
I mean,
Our
why you use a
hands.
childish analogy, I don't know. If you want to think this is a cross section of the where the North Pole is the top and South Pole is the bottom, okay, we can. do that if you like.
I'm looking at it as though it's a circle because that's what it is, right?
Yes,
And they're
yes,
all just pieces of pies, right?
Yes.
With different angles in between them, and you can measure them
well
angles,
done,
can't you?
different angles, yes, well
Yeah.
done, you got it.
Yeah.
Different angles, well done.
How
Move
is this
straight line.
how is
Right, so
how
what's
is this
that?
drawn on a bit of paper related to?
Yeah. What's
I,
Well,
I don't get this.
okay, right. So do you right? So entirely weird, or was it Emma? Or
so
whatever?
that shows.
Hold on, I'm answering Emma's question, please. Right. So do you understand?
Yeah, Bev. Jeez,
Oh,
Bev.
Yeah, geez, Bev.
Right. So there we
Get
go.
ready for a full explanation.
I've just demonstrated how.
Do you think
the
Rumpus
circle-
thinks that people only want to hear
Oh
his
my God.
voice today?
Right, so here we go. So I've just demonstrated on a circle here, just
Amazing.
using nothing more than a circle, how the angle.
Yeah, but is
from-
that what
Right,
is
let
that
me
what we live
finish.
on?
I know you
Do
like
we live on a
interrupting, You're being
circle?
a prat. Stop interrupting. Have some manners.
Do we
I-
live on a
Right.
circle?
No, we live on a sphere. This is a cross section through a
Sphere.
Oh, we live
Nice.
on a sphere.
Right, so Emma, I'm trying to give you a little. Let me just finish.
How do you draw a sphere on a piece of
Let me
paper?
just finish my sentence, please. Right. So I've just shown you how on a circle, how the angle of the radial changes dependent on your position on the edge of the circle, depending on your position on the circumference.
No.
Now,
It's not
in a
your
sphere,
position on the edge of a circle.
a sphere,
Come on. It's a circle.
Let me finish,
Don't
let
put
me finish.
yourself on the edge of it, Rumpus.
This is a cross section of a sphere. Do you not understand it? Do you understand what a cross section is?
Right, okay. It's just a
Do you
sphere,
understand
geometric
what a cross-
sphere.
Hang on.
Do
You
understand
said
what a cross section
you
is?
said you can think of it as a cross section if you like, because you didn't start off by saying that. So what is it? It's a circle on a piece of paper with some lines and angles drawn on it.
Which is what you will see as a cross
Okay, so we live on a flat piece of paper, which someone's drawn a circle on with loads of lines. Genius.
You know damn well that.
Did you call me a twat?
I did indeed.
Whoa.
Oh my
You
goodness.
deliberately misunderstood me then, and I don't know whether you did that.
Oh, deliberately misunderstood.
Utter moron.
You willfully did that. You know full well
Such a
that just because
gentleman.
if you know what a cross section is, you know that that's a cross section through a 3D thing. But then-
What? It's just a circle,
Then-
Rumpus.
then
Come
it's
on.
To then say to me that that represents a flat thing means you're either very stupid or you're willfully misunderstanding me. Either way, you're
It is a flat piece of paper. It's a
It's a
drawing.
cross section. Do you understand you can have cross sections through 3D things?
It's a drawing before. You said it was a
Do you
drawing.
understand you
Yeah.
can have cross sections through 3D things?
Right, is it a circle,
Hold on, I
Rumpus?
want to hear. I'd like her to answer, please. Do you understand you can have a cross section through a 3D object?
I do, but it would be
Excellent.
awesome
Right, excellent.
if
Now,
you'd have said
go
that
ahead
at the
then,
beginning
go ahead,
and not changed it when you're
go
questioning
ahead,
on
Bev.
it. Oh, well, it's now cross section.
So
That's
yes,
fine.
I've answered that. So now you understand that it's a cross section. Good. So we're sorted. So what was your question then?
It's only
Bev?
taken you about an hour to say
Now,
that.
now that you understand that everybody doesn't want to listen to you all the time, and now that you understand that that is just a circle, right? And now that you understand that you're not going to imagine standing on the side of a circle or telling us we're standing on the side of a circle.
The principle of the circle there works on a sphere as a cross section.
A geometric sphere.
What other sort of sphere is there, you idiot?
Okay, well, that's fine. Brilliant.
Is that what we live on?
Oi, Rumpus, calm
geometric
down with the
sphere.
ad homs.
Yeah, but I mean, he makes stupid comments like a geometric sphere.
Calm down with the ad homs,
Yeah,
Rumpus.
but
If
he's
you
a
can't,
moron.
if you can't
Yeah, but-
make your
yeah, but
point
if you
without
can tell, he's
making
deliberately
an ad
trying
hom,
to misrepresent what
DP,
I'm saying.
DP, don't worry
If you're
about
not
it.
going to be honest in your questions, then I'm just going to call you a moron. You can at least
Honest?
Obnoxious git. Be nice
Honest.
to
You don't like
Jay.
Honest
being
is the
called out.
posh twat
He
who
doesn't
then
like being
all he
called
does
out.
is ad hom
You think-
people.
you think
You
you're
wouldn't
being
get along with the
terrible.
real posh people, do you? They'd kick your
If
ass.
I appreciate you're just trying to be. You think you're being terrible.
Actually be letting the side down, swearing like this and calling
not-
people names.
I realise that
Moron,
you're
an
deliberately
idiot.
misinterpreting what I'm saying because you think it's a bit of fun. But I'm
No.
afraid that it's making you look like an idiot. You're not making any coherent answers. I don't know whether that's because you can't or because the only thing you've got is a willful misunderstanding of what I'm telling you. You either don't understand geometry at
You're
all.
telling
or
us.
you're
What the
wrong.
hell are you telling us?
I love your opinion.
he thinks he's come here to
Rumpus.
give us education, Bev.
I love your
Yes,
opinion.
I mean, you think you. I mean, obviously, Bev, you think it's clever just to willfully misinterpret what people are telling you. It's not.
I think you might be my favourite Glober at the moment.
You're misrepresenting geometry, Rumpus.
Right,
That's
Bev, Bev,
terrible.
right, excuse me.
Hold on. Do you think a
Excuse
circle's
me.
not a cross section of a sphere, then, Bev?
Go on, Spot on.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, hello,
Hold on.
Rumpus.
You just told me I was misrepresenting geometry. So you don't think then a circle is a cross section of a sphere? Is that correct?
Who said that?
You were denying that this represents a cross.
I said it's a circle, isn't it?
Which is a cross section of a sphere, isn't it?
Oh, God. It's
Well,
a
according to you,
circle, you
you're
muppet.
Your imagination, Rumpus.
Should we take the horizontal and the level to the canal? That might be a better place
Well,
to go.
yeah.
Are you disputing that a cross section of a sphere?
Let's deal in reality now.
Yeah, let's go
Rumpus.
to the
I answer
canal.
the question.
Let's
I know you don't
come
like
back
the
to
question.
reality.
Answer the question. Is a circle a cross section of a sphere?
Of course it is, you.
Excellent. So then stop disputing.
Right,
it
let's
then.
go in reality,
Who was
right?
disputing it?
Let's go in reality,
Donut.
right?
Fucking idiot, Rumpus.
Can you do anything that doesn't involve a paper? Have you got any real world stuff?
Yeah,
you know,
well,
like
that's where we're
reality?
going to go now because he knows
Oh,
a bit
good.
about surveying, don't you,
have a
Rumpus?
He has a problem with the principle, so I'm
You-
explaining this to him.
Yeah, well, we've already sorted out perpendiculars, so you know what a perpendicular is.
I've
not difficult,
explained it to you,
Rumpus.
yes, and it varies just like the direction to the radial of
The perpendicular varies.
The angle, yes, is radial.
The angle of a perpendicular, 90 degrees, varies to what?
The perpendiculars to those radials will change position.
Radials?
I mean, you can't be this stupid. I mean, an 11-year-old could understand what
perpendicular is two straight lines. Where's radial mentioned? Do you want me to get you the... I can get you the actual definition.
In my diagram, you can see the word radials there.
Oh, yeah, I know, but I'm going to give you now the Euclidean definition.
Or Bev
definition
for a twat now as well.
And at each point on the surface, there is a perpendicular between the radial and the...
Definition number 10, Book 1, Euclid's Elements, Euclidean Geometry. When a straight line standing on another straight line makes the adjacent angles equal to one another, each of the angles is called a right angle, and the straight line which stands on the other is called a perpendicular to it.
Do all those radials that I've drawn and the levels, are they
perpendicular? I didn't hear radial mentioned once there in that perpendicular.
It's the down. I was trying to make it easier for you. It's the down angle. Do you see my
diagram? Are you rewriting Euclid?
Can you see
Rumpus is rewriting Euclid, right?
See the perpendiculars
where should we add it in?
Can you see
whereabouts on definition 10, Rumpus?
Bev, he wants us to look at his perpendiculars.
Oh, has he got some good perpendiculars?
Apparently so, but they're on the same piece of paper, aren't they?
Crossing with level. Can you see they're all perpendicular to one another?
What? Which ones?
Right, all those things on the surface where I've drawn up and down.
You can extend a terminated straight line indefinitely.
The level is perpendicular. Can you see that? Every one of those is perpendicular, you moron.
You realise that geometry, proves things. So that means geometry disproves things. This picture that you were done is disproved by perpendiculars. You moron.
They're all perpendicular.
Yeah, you're meant to be really clever, aren't you, Rumpus?
All perpendicular to one another.
They're not all perpendicular to one another. You can't even know what you're saying. You moron.
At the point on the surface, I've drawn a perpendicular, I've drawn a vertical, and I've drawn a horizontal.
You don't even know what a point is, Rumpus.
I have demonstrated. We've been into that. Let's not get confused. I know you're confused. At that point on the surface of a circle, on the edge of a circle, and on the edge of a sphere, the perpendicular there between the horizontal and the vertical is drawn and illustrated. Now, either you're denying that, or you're too stupid, or I don't know. One of the.
Do you want me to read the definition out again, or what?
I think you ought to, but he won't give you any mic space, will he? He just wants to rumpus over the top. Will you? Can you just be quiet while he reads the definition, Rumpus?
I agree with the definition. We're not getting anywhere with that definition. I agree with it.
What do you mean you're not getting? It is the definition. How can you not get anywhere with the definition?
Well, I've got
just let Bev read it. Rumpus, can you shut the fuck up a minute?
Smith, my diagram has got that.
You fucking idiot.
Smith,
just let Bev.
I have got that. Smith, in the diagram, I've got exactly that. My radials and my levels cross at a perpendicular. Do you not see that?
Have I got to mute you so Bev can read his definition?
Right, but do you see that?
Let Bev read his definition. Right, Bev, read your definition.
I've got that.
Rumpus, shut up. Let Bev read his definition.
You're obviously not interested in discussion, so I think I'll go anyway.
All right.
Bev, read
he's gone.
He's gone.
Perpendiculars, they fucking hate it. Oh, dear. Absolutely. What about you, Mark? Are you going to back Rumpus up?
He doesn't like the gravity definition either.
Oh, dear. Bye, Rumpus.
By the way, I mean, he started off by calling Bev a moron, like for about 12 times in a row. So I jumped in and just went, will you stop using moron? And then I got...
You're breaking up there, Emma.
Joy.
That was hilarious.
Well, anyone want to Final thoughts before we stop the recording?
Well, he didn't want that definition read, did he? So it would be able to be heard.
Perpendiculars kill the thing. I mean, like, geometry definitely disproves that ridiculous drawing he put on the page.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I updated that a couple of times.
Yeah, I like that one. That horizontal or perpendicular is very good.
Yeah, so I think we can use that as the thumbnail for
Yeah, for this one.
the Rumpus disaster. All right. Funny.